Okay, we're looking at question 7, and it says, which one of the following most precisely describes the role played in the scientist's arguments by the statement that chemical R did not cause cancer in the laboratory rats? Okay, so the first, I guess the first sentence, what is the, so it's kind of like a method of reasoning, okay? Where we're just kind of like, hey, tell us what's going on. But now we're just looking at a specific part, okay? And I found this question to be fairly difficult, to be honest with you. It took me a minute to dissect it, to distinguish different parts of it, okay? And so what do we have going on in the argument? Okay, I guess we've got, we're in a laboratory, right? And we've got this chemical R, and rats are exposed to it, and it doesn't cause cancer in rats. But we've got a doctor over there that's saying, like, or a scientist or whoever, he's saying, look, you can't conclude that it's safe for humans. And we're like, well, gee, that sucks. I mean, it didn't happen in the rats. Thus, I mean, can't we extrapolate that it's safe for humans? And he's like, no, because there are a bunch of substances out there that are dangerous to humans and that aren't to rats. And then he kind of explains that. He just kind of like says, like, it's probably about like long-term exposure. And bottom line is rats don't live long enough for it to affect them. Okay, so that's what we've got going on, and we just need to understand, what is the role of this. And when I first went through it, I don't know if I had it in my mind what the role is, or what the role was before I started looking at the answer choices. So let's go ahead and get started. If you look at A, it is cited as evidence against the conclusion that chemical R is safe for humans. Right there, I'm thinking that's the answer, but I just need to go to the rest of the answer choices. So I've got A on my radar. I'm almost positive. I look at B. It is advanced to support the contention that test results obtained from laboratory rats cannot be extrapolated to humans. Okay, so there I'm like, maybe so, maybe that's it as well. Now I'm a little bit confused. I look at C, it illustrates the claim that rats are too short-lived to be suitable as test subjects for carcinogenic properties of substances to which humans are chronically exposed. That looks pretty good too. At this point I'm getting a little concerned. Okay, D, it is used as evidence to support the hypothesis that chemical R causes cancer in humans via long-term exposure. That's the first one that I could ditch out, because we never said it causes it. We just said it can't conclude that it's safe. All right, so D is out. A, B, and C are fortunately in. And then E, it is cited as being insufficient to support the conclusion that chemical R is safe for humans. And I'm like, well, that definitely sounds like it, right? Because it's like, they're saying, here, look at this. And he's saying, well, wait a minute, you can't conclude that it's safe. So E really just sounds exactly like it. The job now is to kind of figure out, is it A, B, C, or E? All right. So I want to go to C and talk about that for a second. It illustrates the claim. A claim is an example. I could call this an example. I really could. But the problem with this answer choice is it says it illustrates the claim that rats are too short-lived to be suitable test subjects for the carcinogenic properties of substances to which humans are chronically exposed. Well, it never says that they're not suitable, okay? It just says something to the effect that you can't conclude something from them. But it doesn't say they're not suitable. They might be the best thing that we've got, okay? So this is just a bit too strong. This talks about you don't extrapolate too much from it. But it doesn't mean that they're not suitable. They might be, again, the most suitable thing we have. C is dropped out, okay? It's between A, B, and E. Let's look at B. We'll go back to this, okay? It's advanced to support the contention that test results obtained from laboratory rats cannot be extrapolated to humans, okay? So the idea is, can we not extrapolate them whatsoever, okay? That's just a bit too much right there. Cannot be extrapolated to humans. That test results, right? Again, that's just too strong. We might be able to extrapolate some parts, okay? It might be, there might be things that we know from this, but we can't conclude ultimate safety. So this just goes a little bit too far. It's too strong of a statement. It falls out. And so now we're between A and E, and they really say almost the same thing. It is cited as evidence against the conclusion that chemical R is safe, and versus it is cited as being insufficient. Well, you know, and that was E that I was just talking about. But if we look at A, we don't, this against the conclusion that chemical R is safe, we never make that conclusion. Okay, we never make that conclusion. A falls out. It took me a second to look at this and to begin to distinguish it, but once I did, when answer choices are that difficult to discern, okay, you'll oftentimes find an answer choice that's just right on the money, and really E just almost literally regurgitates these two sentences, and that's why it's the correct answer to the question.